I woke up, thank the Most High for this life that I'm living. These meditations get my mind right and me in tune with my spirit. On this east side, spreading these vibes in this physical dimension. My ancestors assisting on this earth with a mission. Well, peace and love, peace and love. We rocking here with another episode here on Peace TV. I'm in a room with some powerful brothers, man. I just give thanks for this opportunity to connect and build. So, y'all want to introduce yourselves, man, and let the people know where y'all from and what's going on.
Well, I get the chance to start out today, huh? Excellent. Pop it off. Yeah. My name is Amsube L, and I'm representing the Southeast over there in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. And we're out here in Oakland, building and developing relationships with the family.
Peace. My name is O.E. Son I Do, representing Team TARS, Atlanta, Georgia, in Oakland, West Side. We are here with the National Entheogenic Council. The brother Peace been building with us since the Detroit Psychedelic Conference came out, was an essential part of us being a ridiculous success as one of our filmatographers and videographers, like capturing the moment was one of the essence. And so we out here in his spot. He told us he wanted to just get us on here and just chop it up about peace, and we was like, of course, anything for the king.
Give thanks, good brother.
All right, peace, family. This is Baba Mudu Baki, coming from Detroit, representing the Detroit Psychedelic Conference. Loving Oakland, here with the brightest minds I've come across in many moons, and just happy to be here.
Dang, it's been a while since I've been by anybody, let alone been by somebody from the mid. So I'm from Fly City, Jalen, out here. Flint, most people don't know that we call it Fly City. When the water wasn't bad, it was Fly City. But yeah, no, when they ask me about peace, I'm like, well, obviously the best way to show peace to me is to spread more love. So that's a great way to get started. So of course I'm down.
Peace, everyone. I'm coming to you, Chief Nighthawk, down here in Oakland, National Entheogenic Council meeting, boot camp. Just happy to be in the building with a lot of great, powerful people. I hate that we didn't have any of our queens here, representation of us, but we're going to hold it down for the queen. Yeah, we do. Give thanks.
Well, I definitely want to give thanks, and I appreciate y'all brothers taking the time to tap into the frequency of peace with me. You know, I'm coming up from Richmond, California, and growing up in my environment, you know, I never had peace growing up in the hood. You know, experienced a lot of violence, a lot of trauma, and things like that. So for me to transmute a lot of the things that I've been through and to tap into a frequency of peace and just having the intention to create peace amongst my brothers. Because growing up in my environment, just so much trauma. Like, you can't even connect with a brother or look a brother eye to eye without it being tension or a brother feeling like you're trying to challenge him. You know, so I dealt with a lot of that growing up. So this is a healing opportunity for me right now, just connecting with my brothers right now. So I just want to tap in with y'all about peace, man. And what's y'all perspectives about peace, you know? How y'all view peace? What is peace to y'all in this life?
You first. Okay, that's in the rotation. Put me in the rotation, and I can appreciate peace. But you know, the thing is, for me, is peace and war. Okay, we have to know one or the other. We just can't. You know, both of them have to exist. And so now we have to examine how do I move and acknowledge that I represent both of them, so that then I can make the proper choice and choose peace. And peace for me will bring me peace of mind, peace of heart, harmony, where I feel peaceful inside and I am able to live my story, own my story, without projecting it to someone else. That's peace.
I can't stand going behind him. I'm glad I get this out the way. I couldn't go last. Ain't no way I could go behind you, Tellus. Absolutely not. I'm gonna just choose two of the various backgrounds I come from. So in the 5% nation, the gods of earth, they say positive energy always create elevation, right? Sometimes the E they'll change it, the last E they'll change it to other things, but from my neck of the woods and my cipher, it was elevation. And we all have experienced real like bottom type problems, right? Like which pack of noodles we gonna eat, which potato chips is gonna go with these noodles, right? So those are low energy problems. So I choose to be elevated to a place where I can choose like, what bank do I open up and put this 100,000 at? That's peace to me. Which 2 of these properties I'm gonna sell this month, and which 3 properties I'm gonna cop? Because I want 10 doors. That's peace to me. You know what I'm saying? I want 20 doors in 3 years. I want my brothers to be eating like me. That's positive energy, always creating elevation, and definitely with the war aspect of the art of war. You know, to win without fighting is best. So I'm always studying war and death and turmoil and trauma. So when I'm trying to heal somebody else or show them how to be their own teacher, like Tellis brought up, that's a part of my war. You know what I'm saying? So we can get it before it get too close to me. Like I said, a real master stops it before it get real close to him. And then from the Taurus side, I guess, that's just to be valuable. Like, it's more peaceful for me to be valuable to myself and to others. Like, that's the kind of peace I want to have. That's the place I want to be at. Not just, like I said, on a low energy particular vibration, but having something that's of value. That's what peace is to me. And maintaining that, especially like in my home, God, and in my relationships. Woo-wee. Yeah, that's the key for me by peace.
I would love to add to that.
Okay, going in.
That piece that's powerful. That's really powerful. But what I really see though is I love the brilliance that both of y'all introduced. Y'all really brought a lot of light to the spectrum that's possible in any, not only just peace, but any powerful concept. Because you talk to the spectrum of it from a much more naturalistic approach, while you talked about it from more of a secular approach. So I think it was definitely dope to see those different contrasts. But for me, personally, peace in my realm is definitely much more about the collective. I've seen so much power in that, and I've been blessed so many times due to the just sheer power of our species to think of others, and just been lucky a lot of miscellaneous times. So I definitely just feel that, and I always, whenever I get these opportunities, I always want to give more light and shed more agency on the full container, so that you really understand not only what you're dealing with in this one instance, but something that you can really take away for the full anything that you go into. And there's always levels to everything, but having words to identify stuff is better than just having the definitions. It gives you agency, it gives you recognition to where you understand what's happening and can avoid it in the future. So learning from our past is actually one of the beautiful parts about being a human. So leverage that. And I encourage everybody to be able to leverage that. So that to me is really part of my piece, is really helping us as a species just continue to move forward and not get caught in the things of yesterday. So that's really what peace means to me.
Yeah, I appreciate that. We'll end it off with the mastermind, man. So I'm gonna put in, well, to me, when it comes to peace, peace is freedom. And freedom is the space that exists between stimulus and your response. So in life, we have things that stimulate, and then we have the freedom to respond. And so to have peace is to have the power to respond the way you choose and the way that's best for you. And so when we talk about a lack of peace in our community, or a lack of peace in our life, like I speak to my brother Peace here, he experienced violence. And so that was the stimulus. And in between the space of the violence and his response, he chose what? Peace. And peace, in doing that, he exercised freedom. So to me, peace is freedom.
That's super powerful. That control.
Well, me being the teacher that I am and the wordsmith that I am, I get into a lot of etymology and also the subconscious and how it works, especially into the work that I do. So I'm just going to talk on peace and what we also invoke when we use that. You know what I'm saying? I think I touched upon this at the psychedelic conference. We was all building and they was talking about peace. And then I had got into that, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, this is what I got from one of my teachers. It's like, what we really strive for, and it's not to take away from how we transmute anything, it's just to educate. What we really strive for is wholeness. Because, again, the subconscious doesn't record what we transmute or what we are looking for in the definition of what somebody else gave us. You see what I'm saying? So what we're looking for is really wholeness. Because a piece is a piece of something. That's what, you know what I'm saying? Or it's the opposite of war. So if you're seeking peace, that means you're gonna always have the opposition of war to come against you. That's just the etymology.
Duality,
Yeah, that's just duality of something. So in order to transmute something, in order to educate, in order to grow past something, what we are really striving for is wholeness.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, you feel me? You know, it's
Or
just,
remembering
or
that we
are
yeah.
at a certain place. You know what I'm saying? It's a stasis, but just for the culture, and like we use the words to identify and to bring the culture together. We use peace, and have power in it. But we lose it. Yeah, we lose it when we don't have that power in certain things. But just always keep in mind that what we are striving for is not peace. We're striving for wholeness. You see what I'm saying? Because every time, right, wholeness. That's what we're striving. Singular. It's clear. It's clear. You know what I'm saying? It's nothing, and nothing, and there's nothing opposite. Nothing opposes wholeness. You see what I'm saying? You're not calling anything. It's not. It's what it is. It encompasses everything. It's the whole pie.
Yeah, and then it's ironic when you get that, you start letting go all the little parts.
The parts, correct. It transmutes and it translates and it encompasses so much more when you adopt that theory versus just peace, because pieces come with fragments.
It's a very
But I love peace, though. You know.
I must say though, it's super interesting. You're from Atlanta.
Yeah.
And you're from the D. You're from Detroit. And since I'm only lived in Flint for half my life, and I lived in Atlanta the other half of my life. So to be in between, it's crazy.
The middle point.
Right. And y'all are definitely some of the sharpest people I've seen from both those areas.
Man,
so it's
appreciate
definitely a blessing.
Appreciate it. And so when you speak on wholeness, because when you're warred upon, your lack of power to resist or respond is that instability of peace. You know, so wholeness is not only, when we talk about peace, like you say, it's not always a passive thing. It's also an active thing where you can actively resist and respond. You know, and so that's where that freedom and that wholeness,
Right. And then having that access. So the last thing I'll add to that is, so to add to the full part that you're looking for, that wholeness, a lot of people think that they can like shake a part of their past or a part of their history, and it's actually all a part of you. Those are different parts or of your overall whole.
Right.
Understand that you are as vast as the sky. You're actually more vast. You have more complexity.
Right.
You just got to be able to appreciate that, and then that each individual person has that individual complexity, and they're on their own developmental pathway. So appreciating where they're at on their own pathway and where you're at on your own pathway will give you a world of release and relief of not trying to pressure anybody to do anything, because everybody's on their own journey.
Yeah.
And appreciate where they're at. Control your narrative.
Controlling your narrative.
Because that's all you have. That's all you have control over.
Yeah, and shifting your paradigm.
That's all. That's all it really had. When it's well understood.
There's so much to reflect on, man, and y'all dropped so many gems, and I'm definitely gonna go back and go over this video and tap back in, man, because I appreciate everything that y'all expressed, man. And yes, we all on our own journeys, man, and any of y'all want to share some examples or some things y'all do to cultivate peace within yourself, or like what's some things in this life that you tap into that make you feel wholeness within yourself?
Yeah.
I want to go first. I cultivate the art of hanging up on people. So, like, for real, you know what I'm saying? So, like most people look at me, yes, I meditate. Absolutely, I do Tai Chi. Absolutely, I go and do ancestral work. That's all internal. But we're talking about wholeness. The other side of that, my action side, is protect my peace. Meaning, like, hanging up on somebody is not just the one on the telephone, but where I hang up on somebody who has chosen the wall of suffering. You see what I'm saying? So, like, one of my missions is to get away from the wall of suffering. But I know I can't take anybody else with me. It's an individual choice. So sometimes family members will try to stick on to me, blood relatives, non-blood relatives, like, you know, brothers I came up with. It's like, oh, we did this together. You my brother. But yeah, you have the wall of suffering. And you want me to stay with you. So that's not brotherly. So I'm going to have to hang up on you and then walk away till I get to the land of success. There's only 2 areas on the planet, but the one most populated is the wall of suffering. That's why the National Entheogenic Council, we're trying to get people to learn how to love themselves, heal themselves, teach themselves, develop themselves so they can go to the land of success. They stay on the wall of suffering. When you say 90% they spend their mind rejecting things every day, I hang up on them people. So I just wanted to just sum mine up into the art of hanging up on folks. It's okay, especially on your phone in real life. They're like, did you hang up on me? I pay this bill. I can. My daddy used to say, I pay the cost to be the boss. All this other stuff about who drank the last of the Kool-Aid. You only left a little bit of Kool-Aid in the refrigerator, daddy. I pay the cost to be. I bought the water, the sugar, the Kool-Aid. I can leave a swallow in there if I want to. But you can't. Why can't I do what you do? I pay the cost to be the boss. So when you and to maintain wholeness, peace, all that, even to go to war, you have to be the boss of your life. Other people are running you. That's why I was talking about, like, with this full moon in Taurus, like your throat chakra, you have to start speaking your truth more than somebody else's opinion. Just ask yourself the things that you are saying during the day, is it your truth or is it somebody else's opinion? A boss is speaking their truth. You are doing somebody else's opinion. You are not a boss. Shouts out to Dame Dash. That's my definition. you are not a boss. So,
Bro, I'll take it from there.
Oh, you want to?
Yeah, I mean, because I want to definitely add to that. Because he touched on too many great points there. So I want to add to. I'll add to a few of the points. Because you really hit on that completeness, that rawness. It's super important, but also appreciating that you can forgive those people by, like, just resetting that energy pattern, giving them their space, letting them, whether they forgive you or not, you forgive yourself and let that go. Because that's a key thing that a lot of people don't let themselves off the hook with these type of emotions, and it's very important. But that's one side of it. So I wanted to make sure I got on that. But then understanding some of the other tools, for me, meditation is super critical, of course. And then I love analyzing my meditation and going deeper and deeper and really feeling like, what am I actually giving myself my time? Because that's really what I end up getting to at the deepest point of my meditation. Because sometimes in meditation, when you're really having all these other thoughts, you're usually thinking for somebody else. So the other thing that I want to add on to what he said is letting other people's thoughts go and really embodying your own. Because I think he said it really well, but that's the art of really being. Is really letting your essence come through and not getting held up by your own opinion of self. Trying to be yourself, you could just be. Like, you don't have to get into all the extra energy of it. So I think that's really important. So another way, I think for me personally, what I've found in my deepest meditations is I'm here for others and to serve others and to provide my value and my service to community already. So with that in mind, I feel obliged and committed to really helping build other businesses and other people and other ecosystems in entrepreneurship. So that's really what I spend most of my day doing. So I think anytime you're doing that and helping others to maximize their own potential through, because that's the best way you can, in my opinion, can really help somebody experience what their skill sets really rawly are, and then attach it to not just raw value, but all the different forms of capital, human, social, fiscal. Like, all of the intangibles and all of that is wrapped into those. So I think it's just really a great opportunity there.
Well, I want to bounce off a term that you used that I'm very, I study a lot, but the concept is locus of control. Yeah. And essentially that's having the wisdom of understanding those things that you can change, those things that you directly have agency or control over to influence. And then the second thing is cultivating power over that. So once you have a clear understanding of what's in your locus of control, then I personally attain peace by, one, defining my locus of control in a situation or a day or in my life in general, and then making sure I had the power to affect the change I want. And then at that point, you can't really resist or fight the sways of what happens outside of that. That's outside of your locus of control. You could be at peace with that you've done what you could, and you had the power to do what you can with what you have control over.
Yeah, for me, it's about surrendering judgments. Because the judgments are what keep you locked in or blocked in. So when I can surrender the judgment on myself and am able to use the experiences that I've had to go forward, because without those experiences, without bumping my knee or going through those what I would call a challenging moment or unpleasant moment, when I'm really pissed off about something, but then I have to sit back and ask myself, how am I serving that which is less than I am? Because at some point, it comes down to self-actualization, accepting something if there is something.
So I want to add some agency to that. So one thing I want to add, just to clear it up really quick, because I love that. But what he's so smart, he didn't get. Y'all might have not caught what he did there. It's the self-inquiry. Who is he talking to? That ability is called self-inquiry. The ability of doing that is called self-observation. That ability of conducting that process continuously is called noting. That self-observation and getting that noting, having that ability allows you much more agency over who's in control. And whenever I'm dealing with somebody who's asking me questions like, I don't know what to eat, or I don't know, I'm like, so who's in control? Like why does it even, just to clear that up so we all got the context around it. Because I think that really helps people digest it for more future use. My bad, Bergo.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I maintain my peace by, I guess mine is twofold. Is constantly always working on myself is how I maintain my peace, because it's all there is self. You know what I'm saying? And then secondly, is being brutally honest with people. I think me and Coach work on that as well. Like, I mean, I'm one of them type people, like, I'm Aquarius, so I'm kind of like emotional, just cut dry sometimes. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I do work on the tact in which and the tone and how I approach people, but it's actually, but it's definitely actually telling them how it is, and not catering to how I think they or what they want to hear. You know what I'm saying? So it's like really just being, and that's being true to myself. You know what I'm saying? As long as I'm staying true to myself and that authenticity, you know, that's
it'll keep you congruent.
keep me right. Yeah, you know.
Wow. Yeah, staying true to yourself is very vital. I feel that, and that's what I had to develop within myself, like, because growing up in my environment, everybody's promoting, like, the pimp lifestyle, drug dealer lifestyle. These are things I've all been exposed to and, had certain influences, but I had to be myself. Like, man, I wanted to embrace a path of creating harmony within myself, creating peace within myself, doing things that satisfy my spirit and not trying to be a follower, so... how did you brothers develop the confidence within yourself? Like, having confidence, I feel like, brings peace to yourself. And as a black man, there's so many things to make us not really value ourselves or have high respect of ourselves. So how do y'all any brothers you want to share, how do y'all tap into that confidence?
I got the confidence by getting back up. That was basically for me. I just keep falling forward. I ain't gonna stay down. I'm not gonna stay down. It also connecting into my spirit guides gives me confidence. You know, going to my altar, saying my prayers, doing my meditation, look around, the world still feels the same. Then throughout the next 23 hours, all this fabulous stuff comes. So these routines that I've just created new routines. I used to know, like, when the Fiends was coming, when the Fiends got their check on the 1st and 15th. That was a routine I created to get paid. Now I create a routine of not stopping, no matter what the object is for me to get back up. As long as I keep getting back up, then I got another opportunity to win. Michael Jordan said you miss 100% of the shots you don't take, right? So I have to continue to keep getting back up. That's my particular formula. Even if I'm down on myself, man, I ain't meditated since I've been in Oakland. That don't mean I'm a bad person, but then the next time I meditate, that's another success. So I start keeping score on my successes. I don't have to brag about them, but I give myself credit for the little successes that I have, versus trying to like push off onto everybody else. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So I can answer that. So for me, my confidence came from just accepting the complete picture. Everybody has their own things that they've gone through. Nobody cares that you under 30 and don't have parents. No one cares. It's not about you. What I really learned is when I accept all the flaws that is me and all the greatness that is me, and stop putting expectations on reality and put expectations on myself, and just accept that whatever is going to happen, whatever is supposed to happen is going to happen, and knowing myself in that, I have always flourished, been blessed, and it always ends up coming out in probability way better than I could have even hoped. And I always get some extra blessing on the way, and it's amazing with no expectations. So as long as I keep myself humble and really just stay in the spirit of giving, the confidence comes for me is like, I can know even if I walked out of here and got mugged, shot, whatever, right? I would still leave going like, damn, I was still great down to the last second. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not worried about nothing. And that keeps me confident knowing that I'm doing the best that I can and always trying to be my best self.
I mean, the key to confidence with me is understand that reality is yours to switch around anyway. You know, we often taught to look at the world from a observer perspective, as if you are sitting in the bleachers and the world around you is going on and you are observing it, whereas it's the opposite. You know, your world is the world. You know, I mean, what exists outside this room right now? Nothing right now. I mean, you know, and when we walk out, that's what exists. So understanding that you are living your life, you know, and your perspective, your reality. I mean, there's no way in the world that anybody could be you. And so whatever you do, there's only one standard it could be, which is great. You know what I'm saying? Because there's no baseline to compare you to, you know. And so in that, and then also recognizing the greatness in others, and understanding that, you know, it's ultimately all a grand experiment anyway. I mean, we are gods who have decided to strip away our superpowers just to see what it's like to be mortals. So enjoy that reality. You know what I'm saying? Because it's a burden to, you know, this reality you're living is you're the only standard to compare yourself with, because essentially, you know, there's nothing outside of you or outside of your experience, you know, and so anything else outside of that is an illusion. And so also recognizing that you are that spark, that God force, and you know, when those of us who've had that experience tapping into the divine, you understand this thing that I was speaking on called the primordial loneliness, in which you experience omniscience, or let's just put it this way, if the Creator is omniscient and is all things, how does it experience itself? How does it know hot from cold, up from down? You know, and so the ability to experience these things, failure itself is a luxury. You know, not knowing something, being cold, these sensations, you know, and so I know this isn't about sacred plants, so I'm not gonna go there. But yeah, yeah, one day, we'll go back to being all, and this is why instinctively we mourn death, even though instinctively we know there's no such thing as death. What we know is that I can no longer look at all these wild, vivid colors and feel the difference between hot and cold and hear the difference between sounds and pitches and see night and day. And I'm going to melt back into that oneness, and so the ability to be a so-called distinct ego or limited or faulted human is a blessing. And so,
yeah, the epiphany is that everything that exists is like a neurotransmitter of God. So it's a signal. You know what I'm saying? It's a signal. It's a signal that's given so. You know what I'm saying? How does God experience Himself? It's through everything that exists is a signal that's given it the experience that it needs. You know what I'm saying? To have to
in its own system actualize.
Right. Right. You know what I'm saying? To have that, and not only experiencing every like zentosecond evolving. That, you know what I'm saying, to create something else. You know
right, because energy is never created.
It's just recycled. Right. It's
never destroyed.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah, man. Right. But what helps me keep my confidence is since we hear the National Entheogen Council, entheogens is one of the prime components that allowed me to tap into who I truly am, that gave me that daily confidence. You know what I'm saying? Once you understand who you are, you know what I'm saying, what you are and what you are capable of, then it gives you this, blanket of confidence, to walk around with. You put that S on your chest. You know what I'm saying?
And most importantly, let the other shit fall off.
Fall off. I mean, you can't be super if you got shit on you. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
True. Confidence, yeah. Now, when I think about confidence, I think about when you talk about God actualizing itself, how we're going to show up in the 3D. Hey. Okay. Okay. It's time for me to stop. It's the things that we form, the mother of the 10,000 things, all these different possibilities that come from the realm, the invisible realm. So how did I gain confidence? It's what was already configured within this frame of 75 trillion cells and all the possibilities that come out of that. So confidence to me is the talents that we're born with and the things that we choose to cultivate.
You see why I hang around these cats?
That's confidence.
Right there, that's from the mouths of babes, from the mouths and motions of babes. Then also the understanding that we literally 1 in a billion, right? Understanding the science of just the birth process, and that you've evolved beyond 64 billion other sperm cells that were competing to be expressed. So you was born a winner, you know what I'm saying, and then you trialed the 9 months of 72,000 years of evolution, you know what I mean, and so. You understand them, and that comes from knowledge of self. So I guess we can all agree the knowledge of self is key to confidence.
Knowledge of self. It's just letting yourself be. That's the key component of it. Letting all the other stuff, like we said, you don't have to do all the extra stuff. You don't have to try to fit in. If you have to try, then you're probably doing something the wrong way. Just be, and you'll get there, and that'll give you confidence every time.
Give thanks. Yes, confidence is key to tapping into your peace and being true to yourself authentically. You know what I'm saying? I want to say that some of you brothers express entheogens. I feel like some people that's tapped into my platform may not be aware of entheogens. So any of y'all brothers want to break that down?
Yeah,
sure. We're all gonna chime in. I'm sure.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, I'll go first because, again, I'm a wordsmith. I like to talk about words. Entheogen, the word entheogen actually means to generate the light or the divine within. That's the definition of the word entheogen. And psychedelics, the word psychedelics is twofold. Psych being mind. Delic comes from the word delios, which means to illuminate or to shine. So to illuminate your mind. So that's what psychedelics and entheogens are. They are attributed. These words are attributed to certain plants that grow here on this planet, and also certain animals that produce these compounds of being entheogens and psychedelics.
Super well done. I mean, that's what you need to add in. I mean, do you want to give them the etymology when the time and the word was discovered in what language? No, I'm joking.
Yeah, and essentially it's what they call the secret sauce to inspiration and civilization. And what we're here for is to try to bring it to the people for better understanding and access. So these are plants and compounds that, we are all practitioners and dedicated advocates of, that are designed to do what they've always done, which is evolve humanity to a next level.
Do some research on that.
I just want to remind folks who don't know, like, as we said at the beginning, we wish the sisters was here, but we represent young energy. So you ladies that's out here looking at this, it's all martial artists sitting up here. He ain't asked us no martial arts questions. We're talking about peace and God and all this other stuff and discipline and confidence. Well, we also all of us just happen to be martial artists. Just want to put that little piece in there, even though we ain't even talking about that, but that's a component of, like, I'm big on relationships, you know what I'm saying? Like, ask that brother how much has he been practicing. That helps with your discipline, your confidence, your moving forward. And then all the all the martial arts came out of entheogens, right? And so for me, when I explain entheogens, I know the root word is theos. So the root word of entheogen, theos means God, right? Come on in.
Everybody doing? I was on the sideline watching, but I'm in here now. I'm Brother Mikael out in Oakland, California. And say it again. Oh yeah. So yeah, I'm here. This was being a observer, but now I'm a part of the interview, and I do have some questions to ask, brother. So I'm glad to be a part of this interview now. But you can go ahead and continue, brother.
Yeah, the root word of entheogen in the middle is theos, and so for me, my particular experiences from me personally and sitting for people in the proper setting is, what is this God-like experience that you're having? Because God really, that term God is love. So when we experiencing God, you're really experiencing the deepest form of love, because you are God. If God made you in his own image, if you want to get biblical, and you were having these entheogens, they help you to remember. So one of the things I learned from Jerry, right before we do the toad, we always say, may you always remember. And all my entheogenic trips, I've had some fabulous things happen and then get back and can't remember them all. Just be like, ooh. And I remember I called Kalindi one day and I was like, man, how do I increase the length of things that I can remember? And he was like, well, you only been 3 times. You got to keep going. And he was like, you don't smoke marijuana? So that might help you, but so you might as well just keep on going back.
It takes an immediate recap. You gotta go real deep. You gotta go real deep.
Which they can't hear you. They can't hear you because you ain't got the mic.
But when you get that deep, and you have to take.
Jalen, they can't hear you because you ain't got the mic. Hold on for a second.
I think the first thing we need to do is break down the idea when he's saying the trip. And so when we're talking about using these substances, you go into a hyper realm of reality, a subluminal state, what we call the divine spiritual state, an ecstatic state in which you tap into a higher consciousness, and it can last from a few minutes to a couple days, depending on the compound or substance and your setting. So when
I'm gonna add to that.
Back to you. Just that piece, it's the place that I surrender. So as Mudu said earlier, we was talking, 90% of the day I'm resisting. When I go into this hyper realm, my 100% is in submitting, right? That's what the whole civilization is, spending 90% of my energy resisting all this information that's coming. When I get into this hyperspace, my trip is about putting 100% of my energy into allowing, because the root word of allow is all. So I am just allowing all of this stuff to come to me, and that's where God comes in between these spaces.
No, that's beautiful. It's super beautiful. I mean, y'all really covered the whole point of it, honestly. Oh yeah.
And I appreciate y'all having me on this panel with y'all right now. I've been around these brothers throughout the week. I met a lot of these brothers at the psychedelic conference, so it's an honor to be holding space right now. Just by being observant and listening to the conversation, I heard brothers speak about, war and peace. Also heard brothers speak about just how to maintain your peace, but also being in duality. So I just got a question for everybody up here. We got some of the greatest minds on the planet right now. So I just want to get y'all perspective on what's going on right now in our society, in our reality in America. We're in the midst of this presidential election. We also, got this COVID amongst us. Is there any kind of advice, any kind of forecast y'all can get to people to, have people be aware of what's the next moves we can make as a people, and everything like that? I see you ready, brother.
I like to touch on, especially when we get into like political aspects and things of that nature. Once you start getting into entheogens that we're talking about, once you start tapping into entheogens, it'll break your mind out of these constructs that we are living in. It'll start to allow you to look on top of the matrix and see what is actually going on to where that you won't want to be affiliated in any of that. Now, it'll also put your... Now people saying, well, what's the next move? People are, well, what should I be doing next? What should I be doing next? The thing about that is the other key component in taking entheogens is the frequency aspect as far as what it's doing to you. It's raising your frequency, allowing your frequency to tap into the higher frequency, the frequency of the all, because everything is vibrating on a frequency. This planet right now is moving and transcending into a higher frequency, and which you align these ingesting and taking these entheogens will put you on that same frequency, and it'll put you where you need to be. It's not a thought that needs to take place, because when you tap into source information, it's an instinct.
Right.
It's like I spend a lot. I used to spend a lot of time in the woods and things. So like the animals, you'll see if the animals know when great danger is coming, because you see all the animals moving in one direction. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So they know which way to go away from what they don't need to be near. So if you raise your frequency and your vibration to tap into that of everything, then it'll put your instinct and it'll kick on your instinct, and it'll put you where you need to be.
Right. And again, back to just being. Once you stop trying to do all this other extra stuff, you'll be amazed what starts to happen. You'll be amazed. You'll be so amazed. So that's the one real big side of it, the frequency of it, and that aspect of it. The ego, getting that reeled in, I mean, it'll really help you understand. It's not... Everybody gets obsessed about ego deaths and getting that in lock. Mm-hmm. But it's not really about the death of the ego. It's really about the actualization of self. Yeah. And allowing yourself to actually blossom into whatever you're actually supposed to be. Correct. And then that everything else comes together. And it's like playing the game in basketball. When you force the shot, it don't go. Yeah. But when you let it fly off.
Like he in flow.
Yeah, you're like, oh, he on fire now. Yeah. He's like, oh no, can't stop him. But I really appreciate this type of energy, though. Y'all have cultivated some real brilliance, so I appreciate all of y'all.
Oh, thank you.
So what should we do? I don't know. Ayahuasca, psilocybin.
Oh, wait.
I don't know. It's okay. No. Oh no.
I forgot to add on
Okay.
to the entrepreneurship aspect of it.
Okay.
You wanna build-
Yeah. No. One of the things I really feel strongly about is as a member and representative of the National Entheogenic Council is that people need to really break out of the paradigm that we've been trapped into. And these substances, plants, and practices are the best way to do that. And if we are really interested in changing the paradigm, changing your lifescape, your landscape of your life, your mindset, those around you, and if you're really interested in real change, you have to look at a broader horizon. You have to look at the other options that exist, which means that you have to break out of the paradigm and understand they purposely been keeping blinders on us. And so, do your homework and find out how to break out of the paradigm. I think we all give you hints. So follow up.
Well said.
What should I do now in the election and the COVID? And y'all gonna ask me, man. See how they want me to jump out the window and say some things like, I like the ideal of 10 grams. You know what I'm saying? How about this? Double the dose you took last year. Okay, at least double your dosage, right? If it's none, then you got to add one, okay? Because you didn't take none, you double zero, you still at zero. For me, I'm gonna just take a shot right at the beast because I really like, strategy, and I really admire my opponent, And so my opponent, if I could make my opponent unsuccessful at something, that's a win for me. Because right now my opponent is successful in getting folks to quit listening to what I'm saying. So I'm gonna just take a shot at the beast and say, if y'all can stop wearing so many masks, because nobody can see us. Like wearing a mask figuratively to your subconscious means I'm stifled. All right. The second part is it makes you subconsciously not fact checked, because you can't. Now it seems like y'all can't read on the box. It says this don't stop nothing, and you still wearing one. And then the other thing is stop being the mask police. All right, when somebody else don't have one, you don't have to scare, right? Mask shaming, right? That's another thing. Like pull your mask down and talk to people, especially when you're inside in your own house.
But it go both ways because some people wear masks out of. See, I got elders at the crib. You know what I'm saying? That's dealing with rape. Oh, I know. But I'm saying, see, one of the understandings is that when you have understanding, you have to consider those that don't, and so. For those that don't have wise understanding, who might be, you know what I'm saying, we can't, we gotta roll like generals. So it's just like if it's beef in the streets and it affecting my family, I can go out there and deal with them, but I damn sure ain't gonna tell my auntie to go out there with me. You see what I'm saying? So as wise generals, you never advise civilians to roll like you roll. You see what I'm saying? So yeah, that's all I say.
Well, look, civilians, bet. Let me just change it up. For those of you military minded, that was my first part that I just gave you for you military minded. For those of you not so military minded, you're a little more civilian oriented. I do care about you too. Okay, I do care about you. I would suggest that you. Yes, there's some very unhealthy folks that need masks, okay? For you, I would like for you to start getting on your exercise, but still, in this time, the answer for the particular quote-unquote leadership that we're about to have or the COVID situation, I would just ask you to start thinking for yourself a little more. Like double that dose. Remember how last year, I said double your whatever your mushrooms, ayahuasca, high double your dose. So this time, double your thinking for yourself quotient. Whatever you thought about last year for yourself, just double that up. Just if you want but a little bit last year, just do a little bit more this year. Some of you heavy thinkers, keep heavy thinking. That's also just double down on thinking for yourself and double your dose. because it doesn't matter. Oh, I just posted this on my Instagram. It doesn't matter who the president is. Most of the problems are coming from yourself. It doesn't matter. Most of the problems is coming that you created. So I would say, be a little more accountable this year. Be a little more accountable for what you did. Okay? Stop pointing the finger at other people outside of you, especially whether it's in your government. Because if Biden win, in 6 months y'all gonna say it's his problem. Okay? So pay attention and be a little more accountable. Double down on your dosage. Double down on thinking for yourself.
Can I drop the mic now?
No way.
You know what I think about this is that we choose to give our attention to things like this that's going on right now as far as the political situation, but the way that I look at it is we choose to do this in a manner as just like we choose mates. You know, it becomes popular. You're full of dopamine and you're very, very happy and everything in the beginning. And somewhere in the middle when they don't give us what we want or desire, or they withhold certain energies from us, then we cop an attitude. Now it's time to get rid of them. So it's really just 4 phases of a cycle. So we're always dealing with cycles right here. So if we can look at it for what it is, the truth is not. Is it your truth? What it is that we are building, and the way that I would work with it is to just say keep doing the things like you said, use the intelligence. And ride that pattern of truth, because other than that, we're not going to, you just get caught up in their program where you can create your own program.
So I'm going to just ask you something personal. What about the folks in Norfolk, specifically like family members that you have? What would you advice would you give some of your family members if they was watching this right here in Norfolk, Virginia? You already know what I'm talking about. I ain't gonna say no names. I ain't gonna do you like that. But what about people in Norfolk, Virginia that's some of your family members? What would you tell them? It'd be a good strategy.
Good strategy is to listen.
I appreciate you, brothers, for giving that powerful response. And just one last question before we go. What are you brothers like expertise, and where can people find you and follow you at to connect with you on more information?
Well, I work with people in helping them to define their patterns of health and the way in which we want to ultimately get a healthy body, a healthy state of mind, and a healthy spiritual and emotional body. Other than that, we use different tools: Asian medicine, acupuncture, therapeutic science, food science, exercise, internal exercise. That's essentially it.
Tell them where you at.
I'm triadacupuncturewellness.com down in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Facebook, AMSU Bayel, and Sustaining Life Wellness Center.
My name's Oye Sun. On Instagram, it is Oye517. On Facebook, it's Oye Carter. Is the personal. Oye Sun is the business page. Website is oye517.com if you want to get any type of personal services, things that I offer, spiritual consultations, human design. If you want to take my astrology course, I also believe that astrology, when we were studying it, we built pyramids, but when we stopped studying, they put us into projects. So I have a family course that's family-oriented to teach you astrology at your pace that you can look at on your telephone and learn. Your whole family can use that one password. And also, that's about it. I'm on Peace TV. That's where I'm at. If you want to find me, you come over here on Peace TV, click on the link, Ask Peace. It'll definitely get me right at you.
All right. Well, I'm Baba Mudu Baki, ethnobotanist, mycologist. I do a lot of things. I train people in survival techniques, food safety, food security systems, martial arts, personal development. I'm an educator, amongst a lot of other things, whether it's business, consulting, real estate. I could be reached at I10, ATEN, education, the number 1 at Gmail, or I10 Educational on Instagram. Peace.
Wow. Blessings. So, to be honest, I'm a very humble and simple guy. I spend most of my time learning. I spend a lot of time researching. My favorite part of research is applications and execution. I invest in companies as an impact investor. I primarily focus on companies that are in line with the UN SDGs and that are in line with the fourth sector. So those are public benefit corporations, collectives and collaboratives, and nonprofits that are more interested in driving value in their community. And the best way you can find me is you can find me on Twitter at JegnaX. And you can also find me on LinkedIn at just my name, Jalen Gildersleeve. Or you can check out WeAse Research or WeAse Capital to check out my firm. And if you want to learn more about my consulting practice, check out leadersinnovate.io.
How do you spell the firm?
WeAse, WIASE, Capital, and WeAse Research, both.com. Or WeAse.foundation.
You can find me on IG, Beyond the Veil on IG or Facebook, Telesd. Also, Chief Nighthawk, or you can email me directly at Telesd, TELLISDEE @gmail.com.
Ashe, and this is Brother Mikael here. I am a worker owner at Mandela Grocery Cooperative. Also, I'm a part of Rosso Collective, a donation-based community organization giving away food, holistic products to the community. Also, Exclusive Magic, a copper crystal, holistic health business that I have. Repair Nations, a cooperative, economic, sustainable collective group who do a lot of online collective works and travel to the continent to bridge the gaps between our people. And a plant medicine healer, work with plant medicines, work with food as medicine, plant-based chef, and continue to expand my consciousness and awareness on the planet. So give thanks for y'all being here on Peace TV. Much love and light. Peace.
I came up in the hood, but I be on that peace and love. I seen a lot of niggas die, seen niggas get caught up. Decided those are not the past, I want experience. I took the time to elevate my consciousness. I realized my people out here dealing with self-hatred. That's why niggas be on these low vibrations, breaking each other down to the ground like the pavement. Dealing with these chains of mental slavery, I hate it.